Tonight, there are serious concerns about the future of the province's next oil mega project. The Bay du Nord development is on hold. Equinor, the Norwegian company behind the offshore project, dropped the news as the energy industry gathers to discuss the future in this province. Terry Roberts reports.
I'm here in Come By Chance, where the federal government just a short time ago announced a big investment, nearly $90 million. In low-interest loans to help this former oil refinery convert into a producer of renewable fuels. On a typical day, this would dominate the headlines, along with all the hype about wind energy and hydrogen potential that's being talked about at the Energy Conference. But a stunning midday news release from Equinor overshadowed all the celebrations in the energy sector. The Norwegian oil giant announced that the massive Bay du Nord oil project will be postponed for up to 3 years. At the Energy Conference in St. John's, that news changed the mood.
Clearly, this is extremely disappointing news for everyone in this room and our entire industry and our province. I have spoken with Tora Loset of Equinor and expressed our disappointment and concerns, and he will speak here tomorrow.
If there's no Bay du Nord, what is there? We might get a little bit of exploration drilling in the future, but if Bay du Nord doesn't happen, will BP, assuming they discover something, will BP go ahead with it? So I think this is serious. This is serious stuff.
The company blames significant increasing development costs. Equinor had been signaling a final investment decision would likely be made next year. Now there is worry.
The company has assured me that this is largely market forces at play, and it's not a cancellation. It's using some time to reevaluate the best way forward. They can't forget the resource is still ours. It's still out there. It's 8 kilograms per barrel, so it's one of the lowest carbon footprint products in the world. It is valuable, and they see it as such. Equinor themselves are still drilling.
I think it underlines that while Bay du Nord is important, it's also important that we are looking to diversify the economy in Newfoundland and Labrador, and to ensure that we're actually making investments that help us to move forward in a number of other areas. This is a good example of that kind of diversification, but so is the conversation we were having at Energy NL this morning, which is about the development of onshore and offshore wind for the purposes not only of electricity generation, but hydrogen production, where we are targeting to actually see the first shipments of hydrogen going to Germany by the end of 2025. So I am enormously optimistic about the economic prospects for this province.
It's the second time Equinor has hit the pause button on Bay du Nord, but the company says it's not giving up on the project. The company says it will look at new ways to make the project viable. Equinor is also assessing whether or not it will carry out more exploration in the Flemish Pass next year. Until today, Bay du Nord was seen as the next big step in the offshore, the first deep water project. More than 500 million barrels of recoverable oil and the potential to double that, and billions in revenue to the province over the life of the project. Equinor signaled earlier this year that the project was commercially challenged and that costs were creeping up. No one was expecting today's bombshell. After all, talks with the provincial government over a benefits agreement were ongoing, and the project received federal environmental approval a year ago, with Equinor saying Bay du Nord would be Canada's lowest emitting oil project. The question now is what's next? Well, it could be up to 3 years before we learn whether Bay du Nord has a real future. Terry Roberts, CBC News, Come By Chance.
Indigenous and environmental groups have argued Bay du Nord's approval was seriously flawed. Back in March, 9 Indigenous communities in New Brunswick, along with the Sierra Club, called on a federal judge to hit the brakes. Today, the Sierra Club says the province should see this 3-year delay as a wake-up call.
I think the economics of these projects is extremely shaky, and it would be a good time for the province of Newfoundland and Labrador and the federal government to have a realistic discussion about rapidly decarbonizing the economy, because betting on a future of large-scale oil and gas expansion off the coast of Newfoundland and Labrador, I don't think is realistic, and certainly our view has been that it's a bad investment not only for the climate but also for the local economy.